analyzing it, using its value system, its guidance, so that it can shed light on their life. Hudan linnas. There is no word there in that ayah, in that verse, which say guidance for Muslims. If you put the question mark over Muslims, are Muslims guided? They may want to say they are guided. And if you set, along with them, the conditions of guidance, you may very likely see that guidance has eluded Muslims a lot of times, as it has eluded many others who claim they are in touch with God Almighty. So the issue that I want to share some thoughts with you about is based on this, that this Qur'an came to be used as a guidance for all people. For all people. وَبَيِّنَاتٍ مِّنَ الْهُدَى. And the Qur'an contains meticulous expositions of that guidance. So there's no case for anybody to say the Qur'an is not clear. If indeed you read the Qur'an and you study it, it's a book overall for guidance, and all its verses are power-packed with guidance. Wal-Furqan, and it was prescribed to be used as the criterion. Now if you say that this Qur'an is divine, and if Muslims claim that this Qur'an is divine and is godly and it came from God, those words, I didn't put them there. They were put there. And if you hold them in such esteem, isn't it time that you stop making people tell you what it is, and you and I get down to brass tacks, as we say in English, and we investigate exactly what it is. Because of time, I'm going to give you some very important points about what is the Qur'an. I'm introducing you to what is the Qur'an, so you will have a very clear understanding. The Qur'an tells us in chapter 12 what it is. It says, تِلْكَ آيَاتُ الْكِتَابِ الْمُبِينِ. You want to know what the Qur'an is? So if anytime you happen to read it, however you want to read it, this is what should happen to you and to me. If you insist in reading it in Arabic and you don't know A to Z of Arabic, you have got to explain to yourself and your family why you keep reading the Qur'an in Arabic, when you speak English and Dutch and French and all kind of other languages. Why don't you read the Qur'an in the language you understand? But that's the next taboo. People feel if they read the Qur'an in Arabic, even if they don't understand, they get tons of blessings. The only thing is, we don't do that when we drive the car. We don't do that when we deal with our banks. We don't do that when we deal with our offices. We don't do that in the supermarket. We play stupid when we deal with this being called God. Because why? The standards in Muslim community has been very, very low. So everybody can be part of this club, but very few have got to prove credibility for their membership. So the Qur'an says, تِلْكَ آيَاتُ الْكِتَابِ الْمُبِينِ. This book is made up of verses where things are made clear. That this whole book is about dispelling darkness in human life. This book is about ridding the mind of the psychological diseases. This book is about removing the stoppers from human ears, from removing the blindness from human eyes. This book makes things clear. It comes from the verb bana, to be clear, but abana, to make things clear. So tilka ayatul kitab al-mubin. If you read the Qur'an and things don't get clear to you, you are not reading properly. You need to go to better school. You need to go and get somebody assess you whether the grade you're in, you belong to that grade. Why do you think people go so many years to school to develop competency in writing, in reading, in math? And a lot of them still don't. So how do you help somebody who has been so many years to school, apparently, and doesn't know to read and doesn't know to write and can't do math properly? You have to do a review, an assessment of that person, and say, based on your performance, you got to go back to grade 2 or something like that. You got to take private lessons. That's reality. The next verse is found in chapter 56, verse 77. Imagine you are reading a book of economics, or psychology, or computer science, or medicine, or electronics. What do you expect when you read the book? You want to reap the benefits from that book. Otherwise, reading that book will be a senseless and futile exercise. And no sensible person will want to read any book if they are not going to benefit from it. And the Qur'an is the best book. It says, إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ. Kareem not only means dignified, of a high standing, but it means very generous. Imagine if you deal with somebody who is very, very generous. You have a boss who is very generous, right? You and you both fix, this is what you're going to work for and this is what you're going to get. But your boss is very generous. He sees you very honest, very dedicated, very committed. So what he does, apart from what he agreed to give you and you agreed to receive, he gives you more. So the Qur'an is such a book. If you invest time and energy to understand its message, it will enrich you. If you see people all these donkey years of their life reading Qur'an, but it doesn't enrich them, you can know for sure they're reading the wrong way. And there's no shortage of people in this community. And there's no shortage of people in the world who have Qur'an in their homes, high on shelves, who go to all these recitation programs. But what sense have they picked up from the Qur'an? They don't read the Qur'an to learn, so to improve their lives. They read it either for business, because reading Qur'an in people's home and people's gathering is a business. They don't read it for guidance, because if we read it for guidance, we'll be the first one to take it into our lives. So the Qur'an is called Kitabun Kareem, Qur'anun Kareem. It's a noble book. It will raise your status. It will increase your value, because you will stop talking stupid things when you meet people. And you will become somebody of substance and standard, that your children will love you and respect you. Your neighbors will admire you. Your people and community will see your credibility. But you read the Qur'an and read it like a parrot and see if your credibility is going to increase. See if your